Good morning, grade 10. So for today's lesson, we are going to talk about persuasive text. And we are now on our fifth week lesson for the second quarter. And please take down note because this topic is something important and will be included on your quarter exams. Also, at the end of the lesson, you are going to write a persuasive essay. Okay? So let's start by identifying what is a persuasive text, okay? So a persuasive text is any text where the main purpose is to present a point of view and seeks to persuade or convince a reader. So it can be an argument, an exposition, a discussion, review, or even an advertisement. Okay, so that is persuasive text. Alright, so if you still remember, we had discussed already an argumentative essay, right? And maybe you will be asking me what's the difference between persuasive text or persuasive essay with an argumentative essay. So here is my explanation. So a persuasive essay is an essay or writing that tries to convince the audience of the writer's idea or opinion. So the writer uses sentiment, experience, or facts to try to sway the mind of the reader to do or not to do something. Okay, so it is based on sentiment and it appeals more to the reader's mind and emotions. While an argumentative essay is a piece of writing which tries to convince also the readers that the author's idea is in fact true or logically correct. And usually this type of writing is used to defend or to prove a point or an idea. And to write this essay, a thorough research is needed as one needs all available evidence, facts, and information in order to prove his or her point. All right? So, persuasive or persuasion, so it refers to emotions, while argumentative is more on logic. Again, so persuasion or persuasive uses emotion, while argumentative uses logic. So that is the difference between persuasive and argumentative. Okay. So persuasive text aim to persuade readers, like for example, to buy something, to do something, or to change their minds about something. And it is often has the following features. So first we have the content features of persuasive text. First, informative title. So it states the viewpoints or it states the writer's viewpoint in the opening sentence. Next is interesting opening. So it catches the attention of the reader. So you should have an interesting opening that will catch rather the attention of your reader. Next, clear reasons. So it convinces the reader about your purpose. Okay, what is your reasons? Okay, that is clear reasons. Next, we have facts and arguments. So the facts and arguments here, the evidences, gives support. Next, we have the ending that requires a response. So readers can provide answers to the given questions and give their viewpoints about the subject matter. Okay, so those are the content features of persuasive text. So first, informative title, interesting opening, clear reasons, facts and arguments, and an ending that requires a response. All right. Next, we have the language features of persuasive text. So first, we have to use present tense in a persuasive text because it is a current situation. Next, the use of action words. So these are the words which show what is happening. Next, the use of rhetorical questions. So that is the questions that are asked just for effect and answering the question is not expected. So that is rhetorical questions. Questions that don't require an answer. Like for example, how many more animals must suffer before something is done about this? So it is an example of rhetorical questions and it doesn't need an answer. All right. Next is the use of emotive words. So these are the words which show emotions and feelings of the subject. Next features is the assessing words or the use of effective words to achieve the purpose of your persuasive text. All right, so again, the language features of persuasive text are the following: the present tense, the action words, rhetorical questions, emotive words, and assessing words. So here are some examples of rhetorical questions that usually used in persuasive text. So like for example, why me? Who cares? Why bother? So those are some examples. Another examples of rhetorical questions. So how could you? Is this a joke? And are you crazy? Why is this happening to me? So those are some examples of rhetorical questions or questions that doesn't or don't need an answer. Here are some example of emotive words. So these are used to make us feel something and it could be pity, sympathy, anger, or hope. All right? Moving forward, persuasive text used modality. So modals, we already discussed it in our previous lesson, right? So we use modals all the time, especially in everyday speech, right? And modality helps the speaker or the writer take a position of high, medium, or low in relation to the topic. So like for example, when you are talking about possibility, you may use the word or the modal might and may. If it is 75% possible, so you have to use may. But if you are, let's say, 40 to 45, you have to use might. All right. So here the arrow from almost certain to very uncertain. So if you are certain of your information, you have to use must, will, would, ought to, should, okay? But if you are not certain or very uncertain, you may use may or might. Okay? So that is modals in persuasive text. So a person who is 100% sure uses the verb be as in I am sick or he isn't hungry. So here, if I am 100% sure that I am sick, I will say I am sick. All right? But if it is 95%, I will be using must. Like for example, I must be sick. Okay? I must call. Or some can't be hungry. Sam must not be hungry. So that is 95% sure. But if you are 50% or less sure, you have to use the modal may. I may be sick. You are not sure if you are sick or not. She, or rather, she may be in class. Tina may not be in her house. So that is 50% or less sure. Okay, so that's the use of modal. And now let's discuss the 8 tips for better persuasive writing. First, pick a topic you're passionate about. So you'll do your best persuading when it's something you truly believe in, right? So If you have the option to pick a topic, choose one that appeals to your own sensibilities. Okay? Next, know your audience. So if you want to convince readers to believe and agree with you, know who you're talking to first. So like for example, if you're writing a persuasive letter about why standardized testing should be removed from school systems, your audience will be likely parents, right? Okay. Next, number three, we have hook the reader's attention. So a persuasive writer should present their opinion with a declarative statement that clearly expresses their point of view. So start with a fact, research findings, or any evidence that explicitly states information. Okay. Next is number four, we have research both sides. So here, in order to convince the reader to agree with you, you also have to know what you are trying to get them to disagree. So your audience may be completely stuck in their ways. So knowing both sides of your argument and how to effectively counter the opposition is very important. Next, number five is be empathetic. So an effective persuasion technique is the use of empathy. A reader is more inclined to believe you if they feel like you can relate to and understand their experiences. So here, emotional appeal is important for persuasive writing as it targets the audience's sensitivities while also providing a logical explanation for why their beliefs should change. Okay? So empathy is important. Next, ask rhetorical questions. So I already discussed what is rhetorical questions. So presenting questions that the reader will be forced to answer for themselves later on is another good persuasive strategy. Okay? Especially when the information provided to help make that decision supportive of your point of view. Alright, so that is be empathetic and ask rhetorical questions. So next, number seven is emphasize your point. So here, the use of exaggeration in order to express urgency, exclusivity, or just to make a point is another useful persuasive technique. So hyperbolic statements aren't meant to be taken literally, but are used instead to convey an impactful image. So here, use hyperbole. Okay, for example, if you are attempting to persuade a reader not to go to a restaurant, you might say, their bad service nearly starved you to death. That is exaggeration. Although likely untrue, it still creates a vivid picture. All right? And another example is in marketing, the Disney slogan, the happiest place on earth. So here, the happiest place on earth is a subjective statement that makes use of hyperbole to immediately create a desirable feelings for its audience, the parents, and or rather the children and their parents. All right, so that is the use of exaggeration or hyperbole. Number eight and the last, repeat yourself. So, strategic repetition can be an effective way to gradually remind the reader of your message. So, you have to find different ways to make the same point by the use of rephrasing. So, you have to rephrase your point, or you can use through stories. What else? Metaphors and other literary devices to reinforce your point without bogging down the reader with repetitiveness. Okay? So that is repeat yourself. All right? So those are the 8 tips in writing good persuasive essay. And now I have prepared here some examples of persuasive essays. So first is the death penalty. So the death penalty is a good deterrent for criminals. Beyond that, it is fair because the Bible supports an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. So we need to keep the death penalty on the books. Next is the marijuana. So marijuana should be legalized. We are putting too many people in prison and spending too much money to incarcerate them for non-violent crimes. So here you are persuading or convincing your reader to believe in your opinions. And next example is the persuasive writing in ad campaigns. So like for example, cheapers are the crispiest, crunchiest, and most delicious brand of chips you will ever taste. So buy a bag today. Also, a Lexi mattress is the most comfortable bed you'll ever sleep on. So take a 30-day trial and see for yourself. If you're not satisfied, we'll come to your home, remove the mattress, and refund you in full. You've got nothing to lose, so give it a try today. So those are some examples of persuasive writing in ad campaign. So that's all for today, grade 10. Again, this is Teacher Mitch, your English teacher, saying don't stop exploring and keep on learning. So bye everyone. Have a nice day.